Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Mother, the saints of all religion and the Gurus, Mahavatar Babaji, the Deathless Master, Krishna, Divine Mother, our Gurudeva Paramahansa Yogananda, Sri Sri Yukteswar Giri Lahiri Mahase, Karma Yogi Gurudev Swami Sri Vivekananda, Holy Mother Sharada, Paramahansa Ramakrishna. Pranam to all of you, and pranam to you. You might be surprised at the changes of the scenario. We are far off, we are right in the midst of the jungle. And we have the message to continue to exchange and what we see and what we learn. Today is also Ganesh Chaturthi, and it's such a holy and auspicious day. So I have the message to share with you on two important points. One is the Samkhya philosophy, and the other is Vedanta. What is the similarity and the differences? I know many of your ears are perked up because this is the thing which we keep talking about. And the second is, what is the difference between Atman, Brahman, to soul and the spirit, which is the Western world keeps talking about, isn't it? We keep hearing about all this. So let's get on to the first, the Samkhya philosophy and Advaita. Firstly, it would be a misconstrued and misunderstanding if we say the Samkhya was started by Ramanuja or Advaita was started by Shankaracharya. It is not so. Advaitavad and Samkhya is thousands of years old. Ramanujam about 1100 years old, Shankaracharya about 1400 years old. From now, they have reinstated by their commentary on Advaita by Shankaracharya and Ramanujam on Samkhya. The first and foremost to understand Samkhya, the first step of Samkhya is the same as the Advaita. And what is that? That is, we mistake ourselves at this body, Nama, Rupa, Babhara, name, form and function. Samkhya is the foundation of the Advaita on that, only to that point, that we are not this body, we are not this name, we are not this form. Samkhya also tells we are not this world, this around, and this world is separate from you. Samkhya goes ahead and tells the world is not separate from you. Now Samkhya goes ahead and says, now is the difference is starting, okay? Samkhya goes and tells, there is difference between Prakriti and Purusha. There is. Prakriti creates this world called nature. Prakriti is creating the nature and consciousness is the Purusha. Samkhya goes ahead and says there are many consciousness, many Purushas, and each one of the Purusha are the different. A little bit of it I had touched upon in my last session, that how can it be different. In Samkhya says, yes, each person has a different meaning and different. I'm not going into the comparisons now, but just to understand of the creation part of it, of the Samkhya theory and the Advaita theory. So Samkhya is saying this world is created by Prakriti, the mother. And Prakriti is one. But Purusha consciousness is different, and each one is different. Whereas Advaita goes ahead and tells that there is one alone is Brahman. One alone exists. And that Brahman is consciousness. Taittiriya Upanishad, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Sat, from which we have Satyavad. Sat Chit Ananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss is one. Expression of Brahman, in which the consciousness alone is, this entire universe is something like, in Advaita, is the screen alone is projecting the picture. It is projecting the picture. Screen is not the picture. It is projecting. So the Brahman is projecting this universe through the consciousness. How is that? Let's say, take the waves. We have been talking a lot about waves in the ocean and the water. Waves are different from water. But is water different from the wave? This universe is what we talk about, the projected world. Is the world, each one of the world particles, you and I are different, with a different name, form and function. But are we different from the consciousness? The consciousness alone is thus. So now, the ornaments are different from gold. But is gold different from the ornaments? This chair in which I'm sitting down, it's a wooden chair. These chairs are various creations of the wood, are different from the wood. But is the wood different from the chair? This wood possibly was a tree at one time. Then it was cut into log. Log is different from the tree. But the tree different from the log. The log eventually became the chair. Chair is different from the log. But the log is the creation of the chair. In this line, so in the Advaita, it is the projection. So the Prakriti and the Purusha is, as per Advaita, is Maya creates this universe as a projection, and then it is got an avarana. Projection is vikshepa. Maya is projecting this universe for us. And then it got an avarana by which we forget that this is actually us only. That consciousness is which is within me, which is me, and that consciousness alone is projecting this universe, as well as the avarana of the Maya makes us forget that we are. Samkhya, on the other hand, is saying Prakriti and Purushas are different. And there are many Purushas in everyone, to reiterate. In the Advaita, is saying it is one alone exists. And that one alone is projecting, one alone is appearing. Like the movie screen. Movie screen is projecting, but movie screen is not separate from the heroes or the heroines or the Dracula or the King Kong who are coming in. This is the basic difference of the Samkhya and the Advaita. In the Advaita, it is the consciousness alone which is the Prakriti and the Purusha, and it is in projection forms. Right? So this is Samkhya, and reflect upon it, think about it, and then think about questions for Sunday. I will be far away. They might be me moving, screen moving a little bit, and the Divine Mother Sharadama is always there to help us out into this journey. She's the one who's doing the filming, and it's totally a free area. Enjoy the scenery, and we will get on to the next topic now. So, Samkhya is the foundation of the Advaita only in the first step. So which is that step? It is talking about that you are not this body, you are not this mind, you are not your thoughts and feelings, you are something different. So, and you are in Samkhya separate from them. What is my relationship with this nature? Nature is separate, you are separate. This is how we have grown up believing all of it, that we are different. I am that mind, body, name and form. In the Advaita, in the Samkhya says, no, you're not your body, you're not your mind. And through the discernment of the Viveka, Vivekananda, Viveka is telling you that look, you cannot be this body, you cannot be this mind. You're something else. But yes, it is separate from you, but it's different. In the Advaita, this part of it is correct. But Advaita goes ahead and says, as we just covered, that look, the water is different from the wave. But can the wave be different from the water? To clarify, how can the wave be different from the water? The wave is the appearance of the water. Just like the water could be a waterfall. Water can be this rain, there's beautiful rain all around. Water can be this humidity in the air. It's different. But can the wave be different from the water? No, because wave cannot exist if the water wasn't there. So wave is not different. So this is what is it Advaita is saying. You are the projection of the consciousness, and consciousness is you. It is not that I am a body in which there is consciousness. This is what generally we think. I am a conscious body, meaning I am the body and I am consciousness. We recollect our earlier session. Let's take the sunlight as the consciousness, the sun. And Let us say I have different buckets of water, and I have this chair, and I have that water, and I have the stove. The sun is falling on the chair, on the water, on the stove, on the buckets of water. Now, sun's presence is making the chair and the stone warm, but it is not reflecting. But the sun in the buckets of water is reflecting. Not only water is becoming warm, there is also a little sun there, and that's the Sukshma Sharira in you and me, in a jiva, in a life form. In a Sthula Sharira, like the chair or the rock, there is no reflection of the Sukshma Sharira. So it is not a jiva, it is an inert object. Whereas, let's say take the buckets of water. Let's say the bucket gets old, the body gets old. So what is dying? When the body gets old and dies, let's say the bucket has got the sun falling on that water. Water has got warm because of the presence of the sun. It has also got a little sun, which you can see it there. So can the vast lake or the river. You can see the sun too. River and the lake is also getting warm because of the sun, like the rock and the chair. But there is also a reflection of the sun there. Now, bucket has got old, it has got cracked. So, what the gardener does, he puts the water into another new bucket. That new bucket, the water comes in, and the sun will fall onto the new bucket. There will be same sun reflecting on a new bucket on the same water. That water is the Sukshma Sharira which is within us. The bucket is not gone, it is still there. Our Sthula Sharira, our body will continue to be there as Jada, as a matter, an object. It's not going to disintegrate into the air, it will stay there. You have to burn it or bury it under the ground. But the Sukshma Sharira goes on that, as like the water, goes on to a new life form. This is called reincarnation as per the Advaita. We are born again and again and again and again. This is the difference between the two. Now let us take on the soul, the spirit, the Brahman and the Atman. Now, in almost all religion, you have this Brahman and the Atman, and there is an afterlife. But most religions have a faith on there is God. But Buddhism and Islam, there is Allah. But there is afterlife is not known. Though after this life there is a life. But you will be reborn again is not considered correct in Judaism, in Islam, and in Buddhism. In Buddhism there is not even God. Though there is heaven, in Buddhism there is a fine layer of heaven. Now, looking at the soul and the spirit, in the English language, the soul and the spirit is more or less are similar. There is no other name form for it. Like you say, he's a good soul, or our soul has gone. A spirit is gone from the body, it's called the death. The spirit is gone back to God. This is how it is considered. In the Brahman and the Atman is slightly different. As per Advaita Vedanta, we have three who we are. One is this Sthula Sharira. Sthula Sharira is the same as Annamaya Kosha. What we eat is what is our body. Then is Sukshma Sharira. And then is Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira is nothing else but ignorance of knowing who we are. Sukshma Sharira has got three parts: Pranamaya Kosha, Manamaya Kosha, Jnanamaya Kosha. And then we have another Anandamaya Kosha. These are the five. Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira has got those five parts. So you have Annamaya Kosha is the physical body. Then you got three of them with it Pranamaya, Manamaya, Jnanamaya, which is the life force, the mind force, and the intellect force. These are the three on this second part called Sukshma Sharira. When in the, and then is the Anandamaya Kosha. Now when you say generally, as per the ancient, if you are looking at the soul and the spirit comparison with the Brahman and the Ananda, if you look at the Christianity, before Christianity you talk about the Greek. In the Greek, Niyama is the name of basically the breath, the prana. So when you say the soul has left the body, what in the Christianity you say is that Sukshma Sharira has left and gone to God. In the Advaita, it is only that Pranamaya Kosha is the one, the entire includes Sukshma Sharira, is the one which leaves. But Sukshma Sharira includes Pranamaya, it includes Manamaya, it includes Jnanamaya. All three of them. And it is like the bubble. It leaves the body stays. And then, as per Advaita, different things coming in. In here, connection with the spirit and the soul and the Anandamaya Kosha are, this is the main difference for you to contemplate on it and start to think of it. So when you say, he was a good soul, our soul has gone to God, all you're talking about is that prana, which is a part of the Advaita, has left the body, the Pranamaya Kosha. Whereas there is Manomaya and Jnanamaya, etc. in the Advaita. And Advaita has got Karana Sharira, Sthula Sharira and Sukshma Sharira. Three parts. This is the main difference in the Advaita. In the Advaita, it goes ahead and says, it is, none of these three is you. You are that consciousness, which in turn through these three Sharira, because they're still a body. They're just a body. They're not you. This is the main difference in the Advaita. Advaita is saying, you are not your body. None of the body. Sthula Sharira is body, Sukshma Sharira is also body, and Karana Sharira is also the body. But you are not your body. Reflect on it, think, and let's have a wonderful session on Sunday. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.